Hello. Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Uh, Thank you all so much for being here today. It is 11:03 Central Time, which is my time zone at the moment, and so we are going to go ahead and get started. So, again, I'm Alex Beller. I'm the co-founder and president of Postscript. Huge welcome. Thanks for joining us today. Me and the entire team are so excited to give you all the first look at Postscript AI, which is the revenue generating AI that marketers and ecom operators have been waiting for. So I really want to thank you for taking the time to be here today. As always, we're maniacal about this. We aim to keep our webinars short, right? So today's going to be tight. It's going to be filled with valuable information. And today, from the Postscript team, I'm joined by Kiara McPhee, our Chief Product Officer. Kiara joined Postscript around the start of the year, and she's been instrumental in driving forward our AI work. She's got a bunch of really cool stuff to show you. Also joining us later today will be Adam Turner, our CEO, and Andy Ham, the Senior Marketing Manager from Dr. Squatch. So all four of us are going to be available to answer questions at the end of the presentation. So go ahead, feel free to start using the Q&A function at any time, submit your questions in there. You can ask questions for any of us. You can ask questions for Andy, who's been a part of the AI beta since the very beginning. So with that out of the way, let's get started. So I don't want to bury the lead. What should you expect from this launch? Well, if you've worked with Postscript at all or been exposed to us at all, you know that our mission is to make SMS the #1 revenue channel for brands. So of course, when we started working on our AI initiatives well over a year ago, that was our North Star. And the early beta results of the features we're launching are showing an average of a 20% revenue lift on flows. And by the way, this is for brands that are already really good at SMS. And that lift, it's proven by holdout tests. The other thing to remember is those results, it's still really early days for these features and for AI in general. They're only going to get better. Second, all the features we're launching today are real. They've been tested by 9-figure brands. They're going to be available to use. We're not just sharing some pie in the sky future vision here. This stuff is ready to be used. And then lastly, we're launching AI capabilities today that simply do not exist on any other SMS platform. In true Postscript style, we're consistently first to market with the biggest innovations in the industry, whether it's on-site opt-in or whether it's this whole suite of revenue-generating AI tools. Today's no different. So we're going to start by taking a little bit of a step back. Now, I spend all my time, day in and day out, speaking to marketers. And they're always hungry for the latest tools, right? Anything to help them get an edge. But when I talk to marketers about AI, they're often a little bit skeptical. And to be honest, I don't blame them, right? We've been told that AI is going to change how we do everything, right? That it's the future, that we're all going to have like little AI friends and we're going to live in AI houses and we're going to dream AI dreams and on and on and on. You get my point. And now every company out there is just throwing AI features at us. But I have to say, I think most are complete misses. So while yes, of course, there have been some very innovative AI applications, very few game-changing things have been released, especially in e-commerce. In fact, when I reflect on what's been launched for retention marketers with AI, it tends to fit into a single bucket, right? It's ChatGPT wrappers. It's features that maybe help you send a couple of minutes writing copy, but it's usually not on brand. It's usually not relevant. It's usually not aimed at driving revenue increase or performance. And so I have to ask, what's the actual value, right? How long does it take to write a text anyway? Maybe a couple minutes. So even if using a GPT wrapper could reduce that by 50%, I just don't think it's that valuable, especially when marketers need to go and re-edit it afterward to make sure it's on brand. All these sorts of features, they're missing the point. The gap between what AI could potentially do for us and what it's currently delivering is massive, especially in e-commerce. Right? In our opinion, that's doubly true for e-com marketers, and that's what we're shipping today. So let's pause and let's dream a little bit for a second. What should AI be doing for e-commerce? What we think is if a brand could ask for the exact thing they wanted. This is what it would be. First, the AI would be on brand. It should deliver an experience that is truly on brand, right? An experience where you, the marketers, can actually help train an AI model, provide continuous feedback so that it learns and over time nails your unique brand voice. This is extremely important and it's a very high bar. Second, it should make you smarter, right? An AI should allow you to uncover insights about your customers and your business that were previously just unattainable or would have taken way too much time to figure out manually. And the third thing, and in our opinion, what's the most important, is that you should be able to use AI to significantly increase your revenue in a way that requires less work from you than what you were doing before. Saving time with AI, that's cool, that's valuable. But in our opinion, that should only be a secondary benefit to helping you actually grow your business. So, with excitement, that's exactly the sort of thing we're launching today. Postscript AI drives more revenue for brands faster. This isn't like having an agent on your team doing really menial tasks to save you a little time here and there. This is like having an entire room, right? Visualize this, a room full of data scientists constantly working to put more money in your pocket. So instead of trying to, automate away something that you're already pretty good at, we want to give marketers superpowers. And that's a really different lens on AI. We want to give marketers completely new capabilities to do something that they could not do any other way without the help of AI. So that's my background. Let's get into what this looks like. Here are the 4 features that we're launching today as part of Postscript AI. The 2 on the left are for SMS marketing. We're unveiling Brand Center and AI Infinity testing. And the 2 on the right are for SMS sales, where we're launching response automation and conversation intelligence. So before I walk you through each of these, they're all really exciting. But before we walk you through, I want to talk to you about how they all come together, what that end user experience looks like, because it's unlike anything we've seen in SMS marketing to date. And I'm also going to talk about some of the results that Dr. Squatch saw when creating that experience. So this story I'm going to tell has a name. That story is called Chad Has a Dog. Okay, so first, let's pause. Who's Chad? That blonde guy is Chad. Chad is not a real person per se. Chad is Dr. Squatch's SMS persona, right? We developed this in partnership with the Dr. Squatch marketing team. It's the persona that our SMS sales associates embody when they're texting with Dr. Squatch customers. And the funny thing is, customers love texting with Chad. They just love Chad. They love it so much more than just getting text from brand endlessly. Dr. Squatch subscribers actually talk about Chad on Reddit and on social media. It's all extremely positive. You can see the screenshots here. I love Chad. Chad is number 1. It's super cool. He's become an extension of Dr. Squatch's brand and is now a part of their larger SMS strategy, even outside of SMS sales. So when Dr. Squatch joined our AI beta, we started by training the Postscript AI models on Dr. Squatch's brand. We trained the models on Chad's tone of voice, examples of sentences and emojis that he would use, and also things he would never use or never say, which is just as important. We then set out on a mission to figure out how we could use AI to improve Dr. Squatch's abandoned cart flow, right? We wanted it to drive more revenue while staying on brand. And we were a little nervous about this. We didn't know how successful we could be. The reason is because Dr. Squatch, they're really good at SMS. They're veterans. They've been doing this a long time. They're an SMS first brand. They're excellent at writing copy that converts. And they have a very refined, very built up program. So we're a little nervous about taking this swing. And so what we did is we approached this problem by having our AI cast a really wide net, right? Creating hundreds, thousands of message variants that the AI could dynamically A/B test, all while refining the underlying brand and performance AI models. And along the way, something really interesting happened. The AI model came up with this idea that you see on the screen right now. The idea was to mention Chad's dog in the text message. Now, I want to be clear. We did not tell the AI model that Chad has a dog. Chad hadn't been talking about his dog. It came up with that idea based on the description we gave of Chad and all the variants of the different message types it was testing. And what we found is the text that mentioned Chad's dog started getting a lot higher engagement. The Dr. Squatch audience just loved this fact about Chad. It was relatable. It made sense with who they knew as Chad. So as the AI model started to learn what types of messages resonated with Dr. Squatch's audience, it got better and better and better with each iteration. So by the end of the test, Postscript AI was able to drive an 11% lift in revenue on the abandoned cart flow compared to the control group of the holdout test. Super, super exciting. This is found money. So seeing these results, Andy, who we're going to hear from in a little bit, had this to say. Seeing that our audience resonates so well with dogs felt so random. It's totally outside the realm of our product offering, yet it had such positive results. It's like an idea generation tool for things you've never considered before that can end up being very valuable. So the point here is not that every brand should come up with their own persona who has a pet. Okay? If you walk away from today with that idea and start sending out pet-related texts, you've missed the point. That insight just might not work well for your brand or your audience. But the point here is that by using AI in the right fashion, we can cast a really wide net and uncover all kinds of interesting insights about your audiences and what resonates with them in ways that were just impossible to do before. And it allows us to test and scale these learnings so much faster. So I love this story from our AI beta because it perfectly captures what we believe AI should be doing for you. I showed this graphic a few minutes ago, right? First, it was a completely on-brand interaction. You all saw what Chad looks like, right? Of course that guy has a dog. Of course he does. Let's be honest, it's probably like a golden retriever or something silly. Second, it generated a very novel idea and an insight about the Dr. Squatch audience. Now, Dr. Squatch knows what their audience reacts particularly well with, right? Especially with Chad having a dog. So maybe that gives their marketing team an idea for a broad campaign or an SMS campaign or a collaboration with another brand, or maybe even a new product drop, right? Maybe Dr. Squatch expands into dog-friendly soap. Who knows? And finally, and most importantly, this drove a massive revenue lift, double digits, for a brand that was already crushing it with SMS. So one thing I know for certain is that this experiment, it would not have happened without the assistance of Postscript's AI toolkit. So to walk us through these new features in depth, to really let you all in on what we've built and what we shipped, Kiara McPhee has joined us. Kiara, welcome. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Beller. First off, I want to say how lucky I feel to play a part in this groundbreaking launch at Postscript. I've been at MarTech for over a decade, and the team here is absolutely second to none because we are constantly pushing the envelope of what's possible. So brace yourselves. What we're about to launch today not only made that story about Chad possible, or should I say Chad's dog, it fundamentally is going to change the game for what your brands can do with AI too. So without further ado, let's talk about our first launch, the Postscript Brand Center. In D2C, your brand is the biggest asset that you have. It's why you all have put your blood, sweat, and tears into building a brand presence on Shopify, on social, and in the web generally. That's why we built you the Brand Center. It's a centralized place to set and manage how your brand shows up across Postscript AI messages. Brand Center enables you to train the AI model on your unique brand voice, review AI-generated copy examples, and make adjustments before texts are sent. The brands that have used this already, like Ridge, have been really surprised to see that the copy actually does sound like them. That's because they're not generic GPT-generated messages, but instead powered by a really sophisticated model that is bespoke to their individual brand. After going through the experience of setting up the Brand Center and seeing the text examples, Connor, the CMO of Ridge, was not only impressed with the results, but he also said that he thinks this is the future of D2C marketing. We certainly agree. So I'll say setting up the Brand Center does require a little bit of work on your end, but it's a critical first step before jumping into what I'm about to share with you next, which is probably the most important launch of the day. So if you pay attention to one point in this entire presentation, put your coffee down, folks, this one's it. I am so proud to introduce AI Infinity testing, only available in Postscript. Infinity testing combines predictive analytics and generative AI technology to generate and test thousands of on-brand message variants that evolve over time. So those of you who know me know I'm not a particularly salesy person, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that infinity testing needs to be the bedrock of your automations, and this is why. We all know that testing your marketing program is the right thing to do, but we believe it's time to replace the outdated and time-consuming A/B test. And once you see AI infinity testing in action, A/B testing will feel like the Stone Ages. Legacy A/B testing is slow, it's random, it tells you it worked at a moment in time, but it's not working indefinitely. So let's take a look at how AI infinity testing is radically better. It all starts in the Postscript Brand Center, just like we talked about, where you begin to train the AI model on your unique brand voice. Next, drag and drop AI infinity testing flow actions into a Postscript flow, which is actually easier than setting up an actual A/B flow. For the control group, you're going to enter your current best copy, and in this example, we're doing an abandoned cart message. We'll use this as both the message that we measure performance against and also as inspiration for the AI. From there, the AI is going to start exploring and testing message variants. As it starts to gather data and learn what works, it'll begin to optimize the messages to drive higher and higher conversions for your business. Let's take a look at the exploration stage in a bit more detail. Here, the AI is casting a wide net of possible message variants that it can test while keeping within the brand voice guidelines that you provided. These variants are things like what emojis should I use, what level of urgency works best, tone of voice, call to action, etc. What's going to get you the most engagement? Within each of these clusters of variants, there could be hundreds of alternatives that the AI can test. The AI is going to use copy from these variant clusters to create thousands of unique on-brand messages to run. It's going to start identifying trends within each cluster, and based on those trends and learnings, the AI is going to optimize the messages, getting better and better with every iteration. So here's a real example of what this looks like. This is an actual control message that we used with True Classic. Did you leave something behind? Hurry back. This isn't bad. It's pretty standard. Most people here have probably used something similar in the past. After applying AI infinity testing, the AI model identified many better performing variants. This example from a later iteration stage resulted in a 29% increase in earnings per message compared to the control group. But this is the really, really important part to understand. The process doesn't end here. The goal of AI infinity testing is not to come up with one perfect message that you should use indefinitely. The best performing message today might not have the same results tomorrow because your brand, the season, subscribers, everything around your business is constantly changing and evolving. As long as you keep AI infinity testing running, you can continue to give it feedback on your brand voice, and it will continue to evolve as it consumes data about your business, your customers, what's going on in the world, and the engagement that it's seeing change over time. The future of marketing truly is here, and AI infinity testing is already driving an average 20% revenue lift on previously top performing flows. And I want to emphasize what Beller said again. These are flows that you all have worked really hard to make great, and we are seeing 20% revenue lift on top of those. Even better, we've proven these numbers with holdout testing. As of today, infinity testing is available for abandoned cart and browse abandonment flows. And in Q3, we're excited to be expanding to other use cases, starting with campaigns and the welcome message. We can't wait for you to try it. I'll pass it back to you, Beller.
Thanks, Kiara. That was awesome. I, for one, will be utilizing infinity testing across all available flows. So, look, folks, I'm so excited about infinity testing. I'm so excited about Brand Center. And we're going to be circling back to infinity testing in a little bit to show you the types of results that brands in the beta are seeing. And spoiler alert, they're really good. But in addition to those two new features for SMS marketing, we're also launching two more AI features today that are currently only going to be available to customers who are using SMS sales. Now, we're working to make this service more valuable and accessible, but these new features also show the type of AI capabilities that Postscript is delivering just broadly around conversational commerce and where we're going to be going in the future for all Postscript customers. So, taking a step back, right? SMS sales is a Postscript product where agents trained on your brand have in-depth conversations with customers to handle objections, to drive more conversions, things like that. Brands like Caraway, New Era, True Classic, Dr. Squatch, many others use SMS sales, and they've seen really strong results, right? Lifts of up to 10% of total e-commerce store revenue. And across all brands in the program, we're driving an incremental 4x return on program spend. With SMS sales, we target subscribers who for some reason are not converting through your SMS program. And so this 4x ROAS is truly incremental on top of what these brands are already generating with marketing. Now, we've always tried hard to champion conversational commerce. And we really put our money where our mouth is when we opened the e-commerce sales center in Phoenix last year and we launched SMS sales. A lot of people told us that for a remote software company, this move was crazy and it didn't make sense. But there's one thing in marketing that we just knew to be true. And that is to successfully sell to your customers, you have to know who they are. And so to know who they are, you need to talk to them. And there's no better way to know your customers than through a real conversation, especially for an e-com business over text message. So here's a real example from Kizik, which is a brand that uses SMS sales. By talking to this shopper over text message as they shopped around Kizik's website, we learned a ton. We learned so much about this unique user. We learned that her daughter told her about the brand. We learned that she wears a men's size 8.5. We learned that she wears Timberland. We learned that she has plantar fasciitis, she wears insoles, and she lives in an area with rocky terrain. That is a crazy amount of insights about a potential customer. Brands are not getting this depth of unique information anywhere else. And so, brands who joined SMS sales, they started having thousands of conversations like this one each month. And those conversations, they've resulted in a lot of incremental revenue and a lot of incremental sales. But for this AI conversation, they've also created something else for these brands. And that's a completely unique and incredibly valuable data set that just does not exist anywhere else. The brands that invested early in conversational commerce, like we're talking about here, and started building out this data set, now they have a huge advantage with AI. Right? First, AI is only as good as the data you trained it on. So the more advanced use cases with AI will only be possible for brands who invest in quality data like this. Second, as I just covered in that Kizik example, this data is a gold mine for insights about your customers. And we can use AI to help summarize and extract those insights to make you as marketers smarter. And finally, this opens up the future possibility of true personalization. The whole idea of a uniquely right message at the right time to the right person is just not feasible without this level of context and data. So with that in mind, let's look at two features we're launching today that make use of this valuable data set in SMS sales. I'm going to hand it back to you, Kiara.
All right, folks, next feature launch, response automation. We talked about how AI is only as good as the data you train it on. So with SMS sales, we started out by building proprietary data sets on behalf of the brands we serve using highly trained human sales associates. We then trained the Postscript AI model using this data set to start handling some of the more basic responses and also provide response recommendations to help those sales associates be as efficient as possible. Here in this example from Beekman 1802, the AI is using context from the conversation and the subscriber data on the right to give a response recommendation. The sales associate is able to review the response and make any edits before sending. This action, this human in the loop, is further helping to train the model to create even better responses in the future. From our beta, we are seeing that when a sales associate uses AI response recommendations, they get a 7% lift in conversions and 2x faster response times. So we're already seeing the benefit of helping our sales associates do their job that much better and faster with the help of AI. These advancements in AI will continue to help us make SMS sales accessible to more and more brands over time. But here's the really exciting update on SMS sales. Let me present to you conversation intelligence. This is what allows us to take those thousands of conversations and transform them into a goldmine of actionable insights. Before conversation intelligence, an SMS sales strategist would manually go through conversations to find the insights that were most important for a brand to know about. It was so hard, but we knew how valuable it was going to be for the brands that we work with. SMS sales provides a really rare opportunity to gather insights and feedback from the pre-purchase stage to understand both your customers and potential customers who haven't yet made a purchase. Now, with conversation intelligence, you have a way to unlock those valuable insights about your customers and business self-serve. You can filter conversations, quickly scan AI-written summaries, and see how certain topics are trending over time, all overlaid with customer sentiment. So what kinds of insights can you get out of these conversations anyway? Let me give you a couple examples. Is there anything on your website that's confusing shoppers or making it harder for them to pull the trigger on a purchase? What do your customers actually use when talking about your products? This intelligence can go a really long way in improving your copy. How does that new offer resonate with them? Does it make sense? And my personal favorite, what are the real reasons why some shoppers just aren't buying? A big part of SMS sales is helping to address buying objections. Through conversations, we learn so much about their objections and the most successful methods to address them. Now, where do we go from here? Dream with me for a second. Remember that example Beller shared about how much that example that Beller shared about how much Kizik gleaned from one customer conversation. Over time, brands using SMS marketing and SMS sales together are going to be able to extract first-party data from those sales conversations and automatically start to incorporate it into highly personalized infinity testing message variants. That is the future. And we have every confidence it's going to take your revenue performance to the next level. Now I'm going to hand the mic back to Beller one last time.
Thanks, Kiara. I am personally so excited about conversational intelligence. So let's recap, folks. Today, Postscript is launching 4 next-generation AI features across both SMS marketing and SMS sales. Response automation and conversational intelligence for SMS sales, and Brand Center and Infinity testing for SMS marketing. All are built to help e-com marketers use AI tools that are on brand, drive unique insights, and deliver proven incremental revenue. So we're going to go to questions in a minute. We're going to bring some more folks on stage to help answer those questions. But before we do, I want to double click on Infinity testing to show you all the types of results we've been seeing. Because whether or not you're on SMS sales, every brand should leave this webinar and immediately go get Infinity testing set up. So first, let's look at Dr. Squatch's results again. This is the reason we're so bullish on AI Infinity testing. In the future, all SMS flows will be run this way. Especially with beta results like these, Infinity testing drove over $80,000 in holdout test proven revenue in a very short amount of time. And as Andy said, it required almost no time invested on their end. Let's look at True Classic. True Classic also tried out these features in the beta, and they saw even bigger results from their test, almost $150,000 in AI-generated revenue from just a couple of flows, and over 20% lift in revenue and earnings per message and orders per message. This is super, super exciting stuff. I'm so excited. The whole team is so excited to get these features into your hands, but the truth is that we're just getting started. We cannot wait to partner with you as we advance into this new era, this next generation era in revenue driving AI for e-com marketers. So if you're excited about the AI features that we're building and the vision that we have for SMS, you can head over to postscript.io/AI and get in touch with our team to help you get set up on some of these features today. Otherwise, I want to invite Adam and Andy and Kiara to join me on stage. Come on out. Here's all these fine folks. So Kiara and Adam from the Postscript team, Andy from Dr. Squatch, and we will take some time to answer questions. Great. So from Anonymous, that they don't want to be known. Maybe it's Chad, the AI agent. Maybe he's watching. I don't know. Can you see the AI generated text before they go out? It's a great question. So like, can you review, can you see what is going to be sent? So for this, why don't I toss this over to Adam?
All right. Good to chat with everyone today. Super excited about this launch. Can you see the text messages? Of course. Of course you can see the text messages. We want the brands and the marketers to have control and feel really good about the messages going out. So you can see them in 2 different ways. One is in the Brand Center. So as you're setting up your brand voice, you can see everything that the AI is thinking about, potentially generating, and then you can make the edits in the brand voice to see how that changes over time, right? And for Infinity testing, you can actually see for each test that you run, what are some of the sample messages that we're already sending out on your behalf. And you can go in and upvote and downvote some of those. And if you downvote, they'll be removed from the model. And then we use that as feedback for the model so that those never get shown again. And we can always make these better, right? Infinity testing.
Something that I've heard, Adam, on that point from brands who've tried out the beta is that they have a lot of fun upvoting and downvoting and getting feedback on the text going out. That it's like a little bit of a fun game to interact and help train the model on your brand, which is cool.
And in the brand center, you can spend hours in there. We see brands spend hours in here just making sure that it's the right brand voice, right? Because it's such a cool thing to have control over this super powerful technology, right?
Absolutely. Cool. Next question. Thanks, Adam. From Jonathan. Can you elaborate more on the holdout tests and how you're able to quantify the 20% on average lift? Let me toss this over to you, Kiara. Do you know, can you speak to how the holdout tests are calculated?
Yeah, so we send the inspiration message as a control to about 50% of the subscribers in a flow, and the other 50% of them get the AI generated messages. And so that's how we end up calculating the holdout testing and the lift comparatively. This approach helps us gather sufficient data to make sure that we can deliver results within a reasonable period of time. And over time, we're going to seek to be able to whittle down that 50% that goes toward the control in order to be able to maximize your revenue for the AI branch.
Awesome. Thank you. Next question. Let's see what comes up from Carrie. Okay. So can you set rules for the AI generated messages? Example, no emojis or a character limit. How does that work? Adam, could you share more?
Absolutely. So this is all in the brand voice center, right? We have a whole set of different configurations you can do. One of those is absolutely no emojis. And this is something that's actually super interesting this is just a side comment, but something we learned through messing with this is that obviously some of these generative AI products can be super creative. And so they might try to throw in emoji when you don't want one. And so we've created our own checks to make sure that if you don't want emojis, we won't ever send emojis. And we've created our own layers of technology on top of these generative frameworks so that if you want something not to show up, then we'll make sure it doesn't show up.
Awesome. Thank you. We are going to keep running through these questions. Let's see what comes up next. From Brianna. By the way, loving all the question and participation from the audience. Let's keep it coming. Brianna, do these new AI features cost more for us to use? It's a great question. So I'll actually field this one. So there is an extra cost for using AI Infinity testing. And Brand Center is included as part of that. Now, we're still in beta. And so we've landed on pricing that will make Infinity testing just a no-brainer decision for everyone. There's not going to be any contracts with it. You can start with even just one flow, very low risk, very low cost as a way to get started. And so our goal is to get as many brands onboarded as quickly and easily as possible. And I think when you see the price, it'll really reflect that. We are helping people onboard one at a time, personalized fashion. So for more info, reach out to your customer success manager or fill out the form, postscript.io/AI, and our team will get in touch with you to help you get set up. That's for the marketing side. For response automation and conversational intelligence, those are included at no extra cost as part of SMS sales. A new question from Ryan. Will our teams have to rework our flows, like create new, edit, etc., or will AI tools automatically apply themselves? Adam, walk us through how the actual user interacts with these tools in Flow Builder today for Infinity testing.
Sure. So the key thing here, and the product UX designers on this product have just been phenomenal. I have to shout out the team. They're truly amazing. We wanted to make it as easy as possible. And so like Kiara said, this is actually easier than making an A/B test, right? So in the same way that you would drag and drop a message into Flow Builder, you just drag and drop the Infinity test, and then you can write the inspiration message or copy and paste from the message that you're already sending. That's what we recommend. And the AI tools will just automatically work from there, right? So we won't turn this on for you automatically, right? We want you all to have the control, but it's as easy as dragging and dropping a single message in there, and then we'll take care of the rest.
I actually timed it once. It's like 45 seconds less than setting up an A/B test for what it's worth.
She's done the
It's true.
diligence.
It's very quick. It's very easy. It's very fast. But to Adam's point, we do want marketers to have control. We don't want to be automatically updating people's accounts. So a question from Anita. How does this differ from the Postscript SMS sale associate? It's a good question. So I think I'll pass this to you, Kiara. Like,
Sure.
in SMS sales, is AI actually sending the responses? How is our AI different than SMS sales associates? How can people think about that?
Yeah, so we're aiming to have AI handle somewhere between like 10-20% of the messages in SMS sales today, focusing on mostly the routine and basic questions and objections. This frees up a lot of time for the sales associates to focus on the much more complex conversations and also help us figure out how to mine for that zero-party data that we talked about a lot today. It also helps us improve our response times, which generally make your conversions go up. So over time, you'd expect to see more and more of the responses get handled by AI, but it actually gets quite complicated when you have multi-part conversations that you're trying to automate, which is why having humans in the loop and creating that proprietary data set is actually critical right now.
Interesting. Thanks, Anita. Next question from Nate. I know Nate. So Nate, how granularly can we create our AI agent? Hypothetically, could it be a guy who loves whiskey and steak and occasionally will take a hot dog on the road? So if you don't know Nate, you should. And Nate and I share a passion for hot dogs. So I'm glad he's bringing it out here. But behind the joke is actually a really important question. And Nate and I have had conversations about this. Like, marketers, like we said, they want really advanced cutting edge tools, but they still want to stay in control of both brand and marketing strategy. So Adam, how granular and how creative and how like crazy can these AI agents get, right? Like, how much customization can be done to brand voice?
That's a great question. And you can make it like these AI agents can be crazy if you want them to be crazy, right? That's if you really want your your AI agent to take a road glizzy, then that is absolutely possible. But also you could absolutely button it up, right? And I'm so I really want to do a live demo right now, but I won't ruin everything for everyone. But if you go into the brand center, you'll see just how much you can do, right? You can include phrases that influence the model. You can exclude phrases that influence the model. If you wanted, you could have like a very, buttoned up New York lawyer that has never said anything bad in their lives, right? Or you could have that person who's drinking whiskey and taking road dogs. It's highly customizable, and that's just how we want it. And then also we want you all to be able to see that real-time feedback where as you're changing it, how do the messages change, right? We want you to have confidence that the configuration that you have today is going to be the right one. And then as you learn things about your brand, throw it in there, and it'll make the model even better.
Thanks, Adam. Okay, so next question from Aaron. Thanks, Aaron. Can infinity testing help us create our SMS sales persona, or should we create the sales persona first? This is a great question. Kiara, how do you think about this?
Yeah,
how do you think about
absolutely.
like how these two products play together?
Yeah. So absolutely, you would set up the persona and whole, like all of the ethos around your brand inside of the brand center. And then from there, that model that gets trained on what that persona is that you're trying to create feeds through to all of the different AI-driven messages across Postscript products. And so you definitely want to start there, continue to tweak it, iterate it. You're going to be able to see a whole bunch of example messages that you can thumbs up, thumbs down, and continue to iterate over time. And then from there, it will naturally flow through to the messages that are getting created in the variants for infinity tests.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so next question from Frank. Have you noticed any negative sentiment from subscribers towards AI SMS messages during the beta? This is a great question. Adam, what have you seen here?
Sure. So I'll break it up into two categories, the infinity testing and then the SMS sales. automated responses. I'm not sure which necessarily they're mentioning, but the goal of the AI infinity testing is that we've taken what the marketer believes are the best messages, and we've just created a bunch of different iterations for them, right? So the subscriber should see nothing different than maybe 100 different iterations than what the marketer would have written, right? So it's not going off into crazy land if you don't want it to do that. It's relative. It stays on brand the entire time. So actually, as a subscriber gets the message, they can't really tell the difference between a message, the control message, or an AI message, except for that it has higher conversion, has subtle differences, and we run these small increments over time to understand what those subtle differences are, and those usually compound. When it comes to the SMS sales associate, the automated responses, right? We're using training data from all of the conversations that we're having daily, which folks can see inside the conversational insights or inside their own responses. And we're using that to train the model as well. And so really the experience shouldn't be any different than when one of our SMS sales agents is responding, especially because we're taking those more traditional flows or the easier to answer flows, and we're just automating those, right? So the answer shouldn't be any different than what the SMS sales associates are sending. And also this is, they've looked at this ahead of time, right? And they're able to say, oh, this is something I would send, and they're training it that way as well. So we take a lot of precautions to make sure that everything is on brand before it gets sent out.
Cool. Thank you. We can take a couple of more questions before we wrap, if there are any. All right. Well, then I think we're gonna wind down, and there's just a couple more questions that we wanted to bring up. So Andy, I'm gonna pull you to the front of the stage. What was your experience in this beta? What was your experience using these tools, both in terms of brand voice and also seeing the performance come through?
Yeah, great to meet everybody here. Our experience has been overwhelmingly positive, and I think we're just very excited to be included in this beta test because we really didn't know what to expect from it. You touched on this earlier, but a lot of the other platforms that we do work with have their own versions of AI, and I think I saw somebody in the chat describe that as AI from Temu, which feels strikingly accurate. So we didn't know what to expect, but we always trust the Postscript team to lead us in the right direction. So from a brand voice perspective, I would say that it did a shockingly accurate job of nailing our persona of Chad, who we'd already kind of workshopped a bit loosely based on an actual person, but not his actual AI generated image, and all the other little fine tuning that we've done as like our go-to brand associate. But I would say that the very first batch that went out was probably the most exploratory in the sense that it really was just trying to uncover any other, types of conversations that would resonate with our customer base. And then it was really surprising how quickly that next batch of test sends went out, how much more honed in that was, like immediately nailing our brand voice. And then again, like you've already touched on it, it gave us those awesome insights that we had never thought to explore for things like, hey, people love dogs. We've never done anything dog related in any of our comms. And that was just an amazing insight to pull an idea generation tool, because now we know that we should definitely have some sort of like a campaign that's, dog themed, now that we know that resonates with our customers. So it's really been amazing. I think the thing that excites me the most about this is just not only the infinite possibilities, but how seamlessly you can scale this sort of thing, because we would never be able to do this if we were setting these tests up manually. And, I've been here for 3.5 years now, a little bit over 3.5 years. And we've done our best to come up with like new ways of testing things and new ideas to test. But it does get hard when you've worked for a brand for so long to think outside of the box. And so to have this tool kind of dig in for you and just explore possibilities that may not have come to mind, that, sometimes you'll strike gold. It's just really exciting. So yeah, it's been overwhelming.
Super exciting. Well, thanks for sharing. Can you clue all of us in? Will Dr. Squatch be launching pet soap, pet shampoo? We want to know.
I have not heard of that on our roadmap yet, but it has certainly been floated around before, because we know that a lot of people would absolutely love that. There's like some out there ideas that we've seen in our future product launch agenda. So I won't say that it's never going to happen, but I don't know. Stay tuned. If we do, we'll send an email blast about it and an SMS blast as well.
Well, we hope so. Andy, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone, thanks for your time today. If you're interested in learning more, go to postscript.io/AI. Reach out to your CSM if you're interested in getting set up on Infinity testing. If you're on SMS sales, well, if you're not on SMS sales, you should be. And if you're on SMS sales, you can talk to your that team, your account team, on getting exposure to these new tools there as well. So thank you so much for joining us. And in true Postscript fashion, we're ending 11 minutes early. So have a great day, everyone. Thank you.